Anyone who has ever set foot in Las Vegas or a casino anywhere in the world is familiar with the ringing and dinging coming from slot machines. They can be very loud and intimidating, but ultimately can be very easy to play. And now, more than ever, slots are a very popular gaming option from the comfort of your own home, whether on your computer or your mobile device. In this video, we'll show you some of the things that you should consider before finding your favorite game to play online. First, let's go over some of the different options you'll have to choose from while playing slots. And the first one is the denomination of the game. When I say denomination of the game, that simply means how much you have to bet in order to play. This ranges anywhere from 1 cent, also known as penny slots, to $100, and even higher in some places. A lot of games will only offer one denomination, so if you pick a penny game, that's the minimum you have to bet. But then there are multi-denomination games as well. These will give you at least 3 or 4 different choices of denominations you can play. Let's say that you decide to play a multi-denom game at 25 cents. Simply click the 25-cent sign and it'll bring up all the other denom options the game has. For this example, let's say you want to change it to a dollar game. Simply hit the dollar sign and it'll change to a dollar game. You can change the denom after every spin, or stick with what you choose the first time. That's your call. But it's worth noting that once you're in what's called the bonus, you won't be able to change the denomination. Whatever the bet was on that spin when you won the bonus is what you're stuck with. So with any luck, you would have had one of your bigger bets at that moment. Just because it may be a penny slot, that doesn't mean you can only bet 1 cent. That's simply the minimum you have to bet. Now let's get you familiar with pay lines. A pay line, in simple terms, is the line on which a payout will be made based on the winning combinations. They range anywhere from 1 pay line to 150 pay lines, with all kinds of designs for the pay line. Before you start to play, you can hit the info or game rules at your online casino, and it'll break down all the pay lines and the patterns that you need to get for it to pay off. Knowing how many pay lines are on a game is very important because it helps determine how many chances you have to win and also how much you have to bet to win on all of them. It's also important to note that most pay lines move left to right, so it would start on the reel that is furthest left on your screen. There are games that have pay lines that pay not only left to right, but right to left as well, giving you more chances to win. So now that you have a grasp of the pay lines, let's talk about those reels that we mentioned a few seconds ago. Reels are the things that spin on the screen and have the symbols on them. Think of them like that big wheel on The Price is Right, except with symbols instead of numbers. Different games will have different reels as well. The standard 2 that you'll see are 3 and 5 reel games. Typically, 5 reel games have more pay lines, and you'll need more symbols to match or have a winning combination. Also, 5 reel games tend to be lower denomination games compared to 3 reel games due to all the extra pay lines you can create with those 2 extra reels. Okay, let's talk about how to bet. For this example, let's say you're on a penny game with 9 lines. You'll see some buttons on your game. One will be for how many lines you want to bet, and the other for how much you want to bet on each one of those lines. Simply click the 9 line button, and then the 10 times bet button, and then the spin button. Simple as that. So with that one spin in our example, you would have bet 90 cents. 9 lines at 10 cents per line equals 90 cents. If you're comfortable with the 90-cent bet, there will be a same bet button as well. Just hit that and it'll repeat your last bet. If you aren't comfortable, simply pick a different amount of lines or how much you want to bet for the next spin until you find a bet that you're comfortable with. And of course, the casino wants to make it as easy as they can for you to bet the max on a game, so there will be a max bet button as well. It simply shoots your bet straight to the maximum. So, now you can see how your nice little penny game can go from a 1 cent bet to a 90 with one push of the button. So be careful, as there are games with a lot more lines than just 9 lines as we used in this example. Okay, so now we have a handle on how to bet as well as the pay lines. But what exactly makes you win? Well, each game will have a certain number of symbols on each reel. Each symbol will be worth more or less than the others. Think of the symbols like cards. In cards, we know a queen is better than a jack, and therefore the queen will pay better. If you get 3 or more of the same symbol on a pay line, you win. And if you get more than 3, it'll pay better. To find out which symbols are better, go under the info or rules section and you'll be able to see which symbols pay more than others. It'll also break down how much you'll win if you have 3 or more symbols together. You'll also find wild symbols on the reels. Wild symbols turn into whatever symbol you need to make a winning line. For example, if you have 2 queens on a pay line and the next is a wild symbol, that would become a 3rd queen and you would win on that pay line. You can see some big payouts when these come into play. There's also a bonus feature in most slots as well. There are so many different types of bonuses that I wouldn't even know where to begin. But the most common would be awarding a certain amount of free spins. To get into the bonus round, you'll need to get certain symbols on the screen. Some games will require you to get these symbols on a pay line, and other games may just require you to get 3 or more of them anywhere on a screen to start the bonus. If you do get the free spins in a bonus round, it means they're giving you a certain amount of spins at whatever your last bet was. Bonuses are definitely a good thing, and a small amount of excitement is allowed to be shown once you get in one. Let's talk about multipliers quickly. Multipliers do exactly what you think they do. They multiply your payout by whatever amount the multiplier symbol is if you've won. For example, let's say you have a queen, queen, queen on a pay line and it pays $3. If there is a 2 times multiplier on the screen, it would pay 6. Pretty simple, right? The most common multipliers are 2 times, 3 times, and 5 times. And just like everything else, they'll be found on a lot of games, but not all of them. Alright, let's get down to the big bucks. The thing that everybody wants to win, jackpots. What are they, and how do I win one? Now, just like bonuses, there are a lot of different types, so we'll go over a couple. And it goes without saying that the higher denomination game you're playing, the higher the jackpots will be. Winning a jackpot means you've gotten the highest paying symbols on a pay line, giving you the highest payout. Now, in order to win this jackpot on some games, you have to be betting the max bet. If you aren't betting max, you'll still get a good win, but you won't win the biggest jackpot. A lot of newcomers ask, why didn't I win the jackpot? I have the right combination. And every time it's the same answer. Unfortunately, you weren't betting the max. And of course, there are games you don't have to bet max to win a jackpot. So that is usually where the confusion comes in. Most jackpots are set at a certain amount, which means you would win whatever the posted jackpot is for that game. But there are progressive jackpots as well. A progressive jackpot means with every spin, the jackpot will get higher until someone wins it. This type of jackpot can be a single game or linked to multiple games. This would mean that you can have multiple people playing and adding to the jackpot at one time, and they can get pretty big. Throughout this video, I've mentioned many times that slots can vary, but there's one thing that they all have that'll be the best tool in your belt when starting to play: the info or game rules section. Before you start playing, scroll through it and it'll tell you everything that we've covered in this video for that specific game. All the way from pay lines and what the symbols pay, to how to trigger the bonus, and what you need to do to win the big jackpot. I highly recommend looking at this before you play any game if you're a newcomer. When you get to your online casino, you'll see tons of different slot games with many different themes to choose from. Land-based casinos frequently have slot machines based on movies or TV shows, and at online casinos, you'll see some based on things like Greek mythology or some that feature animals and so on, with all their own intricate designs and sounds. So the bonus in that game will have something to do with the theme of the game that you chose. Take some time to look through all the options at your online casino, and I guarantee that you'll find one that fits what you're looking for. You've got the basics down, so now it's time to play some slots and try to win some big money. But always remember, play within your limits and always gamble responsibly. To stay up to date on the latest game guides and strategy, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Gamble online. the world's leading resource for online gambling information since 2008.